my gosh. This chapter of Attack on Titan, I believe chapter 87. Holy shit. Getting everything in this chapter, for starters. I mean, even from front to back, there was like foreshadowing that led into something great at the end of the chapter. So already I gotta applaud Isayama for what he did with this chapter. But I mean, between the gruesomeness, the gore, the revelations, and the foreshadowing that revealed shit from earlier on, it is insane, and I love what Isayama did with this chapter. Honestly, Attack on Titan, I don't even know how many months already I've been saying this, but it's been a good, I want to say 4 months, maybe more, that it's just been absolutely on fire. Every chapter advancing the story greatly, every chapter giving us something incredible to chew on for the entire month, and this chapter was no exception. So we start off with the chapter. I mean, Zek, betrayed them. That's how the last chapter ended up and stuff like that. But it was interesting to note Grisha's character, that he actually second-guessed himself for a minute. Like, was it wrong of me to indoctrinate my child and push my ideologies onto him? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. So I'm kind of interested if that was actually the reason why he was different with Eren, opposed to Zek, where he entrusted all of his hopes, all of his dreams. He set him as a soldier to go, hey, you know what? You're going to go and you're going to invade this place and you're going to do all this shit. Like, he entrusted him with all of that responsibility. Eren, for a while, I mean, I guess he didn't completely do something different with Eren, because ultimately he did leave the secrets in the basement, but he didn't push everything like he did on Zek. Like, had he not learned his lesson, ultimately Eren from the very beginning, he would have been teaching him and showing him and stuff like that, but he kept him at arm's length regarding that information and, that whole entire world, probably because he learned the lesson of what he did to Zek, pushing Zek in that direction. Zek ended up fucking up all the people. So in general, like, I think Grisha learned his lesson that, I can't push everything on my child. I have to let my child actually figure out things on his own. And that's probably why he was so vague with things too. Maybe that's why he did what he did with Eren. He left the information there. He told him, hey, this is the answers and stuff like that, so he can figure it out on his own, what he decides to do. Do you want to go with, the whole stuff that's going on? Do you want to follow my path? Whatever it is, I leave it up to you. So that's definitely interesting to note that Grisha maybe did, to a certain extent, learn his lesson after what happened with Zek, and that's probably why in the beginning of the chapter he's like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I should have talked to Zek about how he felt and not just push everything onto him. But the brutality in this chapter, I mean, I saw the spoilers and I still can't get over it. The fucking fingers, bro. One by one by one. But then if you look down, and I wish I didn't look down, like, if you're just watching this and you don't have context, don't look down. When you see the torture scene, just don't look down, because the motherfucker's dick is gone. Like, at that point, just get rid of me, bruh. Like, just do me in Dr. Seuss style, so I don't gotta live anymore, because, bro, he got no dick now. Or, well, I guess now he doesn't, but for a certain point he did get it back. But, like, I ain't gonna lie, that's too much. Honestly, the torture scene, Isayama was really mad, or Isayama really wanted to show the brutality and the fucking viciousness of these people on how they tortured him. Like, why? Also, what I was referring to earlier on in this review is the foreshadowing that started in the beginning of the chapter and ended at the end of the chapter, with Grisha saying, I remember that face. Like, where do I know that face from? And for a second I was tripped up with it, because we actually seen later on in the chapter he was talking to that one general, the really bad piece of shit, and he was like, you're the guy from 15 years ago that killed my sister or whatever. But actually the one that he was really talking about was the dude that he saw that was actually Al. So that foreshadowing in the beginning of the chapter, very nicely done. He set it up in the beginning. He's like, I know that face from somewhere. Where do I know him? And I'm kind of wondering, was it just from all the violence and everything that happened to him, the torture, why Grisha didn't immediately remember, hey, that's Al, that's the big dog? Or was that he rarely seen him at the meetings? Like, what was that about? But then on top of that wall, like, I think that was the final wall that leads into everything. So you go to that wall and then it starts leading to the other walls, Wall Maria and all that shit, and where all the Titans are at or whatever. But them throwing them down, like, honestly, these people, I don't want to say all of them, I don't want to be a dick and say, hey, everyone, even the innocents, but those generals and all those people in charge, they all deserve the most fucking gruesome depths, because essentially that one guy, the bald motherfucker, was enjoying this. He was saying, this is amusing to me. I like fucking throwing you motherfuckers to get eaten. I like torturing you motherfuckers. I get a boner. My dick starts leaking when I do this shit to you guys. That's how good it feels. And I'm like, wow. But what everyone called, and I love it that we're on it that good. Like, yo, sometimes we on some Detective Conan shit because we've been figuring this out really quick. Dina, or Dinah, however you say her name, is actually the Smiling Titan. Grisha's original wife was the Smiling Titan. Now, the things that was said at the end of their, encounter or whatever, their final moments together, she said, I will find you. So I'm kind of curious if subconsciously in her Titan phase, because to them it's just like all one big nightmare. They don't know what's going on the outside, that they're just this giant Titan eating shit and stuff like that. They have no idea. So I'm curious if subconsciously she was looking for Grisha, and that's why she happened to come across Eren, and then maybe she smelled them. I don't know exactly how the smelling is like for the Titans or whatever, but maybe she was searching for Grisha, and that's when she got there. Maybe it could have very well be subconsciously that she was eating her because she felt like she smelled Grisha's scent there. Maybe that could potentially be. It could all be just that, hey, she's fucking crazy and she happened to encounter them, or it could be something a little bit more, because again, the last moment she said, I'm gonna look for you, I will find you, which sad fucking moment, honestly. And the transformations, like Isayama, his pen game with the art was on point for a lot of them, especially the transformations, the last page on the chapter, like he really went in. But it's fucking crazy to see your original fucking wife is the one that killed your new wife. Damn. Although I do got a question, why did Al, if he was standing right there, why would he allow all of those people to get killed and not just immediately turn to a Titan and fuck all of them up? Was he waiting for the right opportunity, that they were all on the boat or some shit like that? Either way, it would be fucked. Like, I would feel betrayed in a way if I was Grisha standing there and I'm like, motherfucker, you just let them do that to my wife? Like, are you kidding me right now? Oh, now you're gonna be big macho after you just let them turn my wife into a fucking man-eating creature? And when we come back to the present, I love it. I think it's so fucking hilarious. They're in jail cells. Not that, I don't find that funny, but they're in jail cells, and Mikasa, as soon as she hears Eren, are you alright? Eren-kun, are you okay? I just imagine her being like creepy all up in his face as he wakes up. Eren, I'm right here for you, buddy. Yeah, something like that. And once again, it kind of played into the whole thing of Eren when he's dreaming, when he's knocked out. That's when he obtains a lot of those memories of Grisha and stuff like that from having the Titan DNA transferred and stuff like that. So it was okay, that particular scene. Honestly, I felt the chapter was at 1,000 miles per hour up until that part where you cut to Eren. I'm like, when I'm looking, I'm just like, can we get back to that? And I'm glad we did, because I was like, that was really good stuff. Like, right now, okay, cool, you're in jail, okay, the army doesn't fucking seem to learn, the name of, all the people at the top, even though fucking Historia is the leader, they still throwing you in jail for violating rules, whatever. Can we just get back to the good shit I've been enjoying? And thankfully they did. That old fuck, I'm so glad, like, Isayama really gave us what we wanted at the end of the chapter, when, for starters, like, he's just building up to be this absolutely irredeemable piece of shit. So he's the one that fed Grisha's sister to dogs, and then say, yeah, it made my kids better. This is entertaining. I want to see you getting your fucking dick chopped off by a Titan. Come on, man. You don't find that funny? You don't find it funny? You don't find it funny? Yeah, the motherfucker's crazy. Another funny thing, trivia fact in this chapter as well, which this chapter just provided so much content. I mean, we advanced greatly in the backstory. We got a little bit more, even though, again, we predicted some things like the Smiling Titan being Grisha's original wife, but nonetheless, getting that reveal, we had quite a bit of information. But something that I didn't expect to ever get information on is the identity of the Kawaii Titan being one of Grisha's people from, that group and stuff like that. I did not expect for us to see that, so that's kind of cool that the Kawaii Titan returns, which I think that was done in a way for anime purposes so that it could return and everybody be like, oh my god, Kawaii Titan returns in such a fucking tragic moment. And another thing to chew on was the fact that we found out in this chapter that it's seemingly only the Eldia people that can turn into Titans with that serum. So people that aren't of that group or whatever, if you inject them with that, seemingly won't turn into Titans. They'll just be like, ow, that hurt. So I'm kind of wondering if, because remember, there's no Asians left in this world aside from like Mikasa and seemingly Levi, I think, because Levi, they're Ackermans or whatever. But either way, the only Asian really left around is Mikasa. I'm kind of curious, was it because they weren't able to, you know, sustain that power, or maybe it's something to do with the fact that the lineage, again, they aren't included necessarily, or there's just such a big difference with the Asian people. That's why in the Attack on Titan world, there really aren't any left. But it is interesting nonetheless that those people are the only ones. So maybe there's some people in the Attack on Titan world that even if you stuck them with serum, maybe Levi, maybe Mikasa, even if you gave them the serum, they wouldn't turn into a Titan or anything like that. So I'm glad that we actually got confirmation that not every human can turn into Titans with the serum. It's only a select group. And the reveal at the end of the chapter was fucking great with Al, you know, finding out he's the one that's been, you know, spearheading all this shit, and he pushed the old dude down. Again, I think he should have revealed it a bit sooner so that all these people didn't get killed, but nonetheless him showcasing, yo, Grisha, this is how it's done. So we find out that this is how Grisha figured out how to use his powers. I'm imagining there's going to be maybe one more chapter of Grisha and him being together, and then probably at the end we'll figure out how Grisha got his full-on powers. But if you look at Al's transformation, it looks very similar to Eren's transformation, so I'm assuming that Grisha gets the power to be a changer and stuff like that from him. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, but nonetheless we see that that's a huge clue as to how Grisha got the information on being a Titan shifter, how Grisha got the Titan shifter abilities, because as of right now he still hasn't been injected yet with the serum to turn into a Titan. I'm imagining it's going to go something along the lines of he gets injected and, you know, Al is either too fucked up or whatever and allows him to eat him, or is an accident and he eats Al. But nonetheless we got to figure out, you know, what the hell happened to Al. And honestly, with all that being said, this was an incredible chapter of Attack on Titan. Honestly, it's anywhere from a 9 to a 10. I want to say 9.5 or maybe even the 10 because it was that damn good. The revelations from the foreshadowing. I think the weakest part of the chapter, the only weak part really, was when we cut back to the present day and it's like, yo, we're just having interesting stuff. Shut the fuck up and go back to sleep, Eren, please. But let me know your thoughts on this one. Predictions on what happens to Al. How does Grisha get the powers? Again, assuming that Grisha gets it from Al, is it that Al allows him to eat him, or does he eat him on accident? How does Grisha get the actual Titan serum in him? Like, did he have a vial with him and he injects it into himself by himself? Also, what do you think was Al's goal in all this in general? Was it just that he wanted to wait until the right time, or did he want to get into the walls himself and he was using this as an opportunity to invade? And your thoughts on Zeke, or Zek, however you pronounce it. Do you think that he did this because he was just brainwashed? Do you feel as though he knows more than we do regarding who's the true culprits? What do you think about the Eldia people being the only ones that can turn into Titans? Do you think that that disqualifies people like Mikasa from turning into a Titan? Your overall thoughts of the chapter. Did you feel it was as great as I felt it was? But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.